What's up? I'm an NCAA champion athlete and a high school state champion wrestler at 160 pounds, and that was about 20 years ago. So I, now at 40, am gonna gain 2 pounds of muscle by Labor Day. And today I'm talking about fatigue and what fatigue feels like. And I'm talking about the type of fatigue that you feel like between the workouts, not like right after you do an exercise or something. So right now, I'm also talking through my workout while I'm doing it here. If you caught my last video, I told you that I'm only showing like the last 2 sets of every exercise I'm doing because I'm doing like 6 sets of about 10 to 12 reps on everything you're looking at here. And I also think too that I'm gonna gain 2 pounds of muscles pretty much just in my legs because my legs are quite a bit smaller than they were back in high school and college. About fatigue, so I had a weekend where I went to a commercial film shoot for a car. It was really cool and refreshing to be back on set. And I didn't work out for about 3 days because we didn't have time on the shoot. So when I get back to town on Monday, I hit the gym and I do legs. It's this session right here because I actually filmed this yesterday. So I hit the legs really hard, and then in the afternoon, I feel so overwhelmed with like sleepiness. I had to take a nap. And so I ended up sleeping for 2 hours. 2 hours in the afternoon. And then last night I went to bed and I slept 11 hours. And so my point is that these are feelings that I haven't experienced, physical feelings, in about 20 years. It's been a long time since I've really tried to focus on growth. I've been so focused on staying lean that I haven't really tried to consume a lot of calories and increase the size of my muscle by a lot. But thinking back to high school and college, these physical feelings of fatigue were very common. One of them I can remember off the top of my head. We used to have practice for conditioning for college football at 4:45 a.m. and it was in Missoula, Montana, and it was like negative 20 degrees. We had to walk across the campus in the dark, in the wind, in the snow, and start on the starting line, bam, sharp at 5 a.m. The first sprint was at 5 a.m. After that workout, I would be so tired, I would go back to my dorm room and just sleep for like another 2 hours. Now, part of that was probably because I was up late the night before. But another part is that it was just exhausting for your body. And so that's one of the key things for beginners, or maybe for people that haven't experienced this before, to keep in mind is that your body is gonna need to recover and you're gonna feel really fatigued. And that is normal. It's super normal. In fact, it's even a good thing that your body's having that response because that means that your body needs to repair. And that's a good thing. You've torn it down. You need to build it back up again. So what exactly does that feel like? So in this case, when I was doing leg day, I left the gym feeling really wobbly legs, all right? So you might understand that feeling too. And it doesn't happen usually if you have consecutive workouts because your body gets used to the workload. It's usually when you hit it after a break or a gap in time. And in my case, it was this long weekend from a Thursday to a Sunday where I hadn't done any exercise and really hadn't done legs in maybe even 5 days. So the legs feel wobbly and then you walk out of the gym. For you, it might be upper body or some other thing. For instance, maybe if you go on a run, you'll feel really tired after the exercise. But this is where it gets interesting. Fatigue is really when you feel after your workout super tired, like totally run down. It almost feels like you're coming down with getting sick, but it's not. It's your body needing to rest and to sleep. And when that happens, boom, all of your resources, your cells of your body go into repair and to muscle growth. And that's when the magic happens, when you're asleep and resting. So in my case, I sat down to do some work yesterday afternoon and I was like, couldn't keep my eyes open. And I don't like to take naps because what happens is I'll get in this habit of taking a nap every day at the same time. And I really don't like to do that because then I feel like I'm wasting time if I don't really need the nap, and it's solely due to habit. But yesterday was a special day because I was so exhausted. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna take a power nap. And that turned into a 2-hour deep sleep with probably 2 REM cycles. And I was beating myself up about it until I realized, man, yeah, one of the times I remember feeling like this was back in college, like I said, after our 4 a.m. training sessions and needing to have that sleep. So I gave myself a break and just let myself sleep, and I didn't give myself a hard time. So when it comes to muscle building, there's 3 things to keep in mind. The first one is your sleep and rest. They say it's recommended you get like 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, and I think that's pretty much true. I've heard stories of people like sleeping for 5 hours a night, and frankly, I don't know how they do that. People always ask me, Andy, How do you stay so young looking? Holy cow, you're 43? Part of it is because I sleep as long as my body needs to every night. And that's usually winding up to about 7 hours or so, roughly. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 8. But I do not compromise my sleep. I also don't wake up to an alarm unless I have to like catch a flight or something crazy. And it always is like the worst feeling ever to wake up to an alarm. Ugh, don't like it. But you have to get your sleep because that's when the cells of your body take the nutrients and start to repair the muscles that you've torn down so that they're anti-fragile and stronger later than they were to begin with. The next thing to keep in mind is your nutrition, all right? Lots of people forget this and just skim over it like it's not that important. It is the thing itself, is the nutrition. And I know I'm guilty too. I'm a guy who didn't have the best nutrition over the years because it's easy when you're young and in your 20s. But you want to make sure you have adequate protein, and for everybody the minimum is basically about 1 gram of protein for every pound that you weigh. Now some people say that you need more than that. Knock yourself out if you want to eat more than that, but that's a minimum. A lot of people just say, oh yeah, I had meat in my meal last night, and the truth of the matter is you probably only got 70 grams or something, and no adult weighs 70 pounds. So you want to have your protein, but then you also need carbs as well, and you need to have some fats also. So I made some other videos, you can check those out for the right proportions to have. But if you don't have any carbs, your body has no fuel to put that protein into place. And the third thing you need is a proper mindset about it, because a lot of people, especially beginners, and maybe even some seasoned vets too, can feel like I did today. And we can beat ourselves up thinking that, oh, I'm tired, oh, it's so hard, I can't overcome this. When in fact, it's totally normal to feel sleepy, and look at it in a positive light, like, okay, I need to let my body rest. This is part of the effort of me getting better. I'm not gonna grow unless I rest. So if you happen to be watching this and it's late at night, time to go to bed.